Well, what's up, everybody? I am waiting for a triaxle of gravel, and while I'm out here, I figured because I'm in sight of the road, I am working on the garden. I started this last night, so I call it my big garden. I don't know if it's the biggest now that I have the squash bed, but it is probably close to my biggest. So I just call this my big garden. Last year, I'll turn you around here. Last year I had rows that I put 2 rows of tomatoes, 2 rows of peppers, 2 rows of tomatoes, 2 rows of peppers. You can see where the tomatoes were because I have the T-posts. I did a trellising system, which was not great. I did the Florida weave. I didn't love it. I intended to come back in this year and run pipe on the top of the T-posts and do a vertical trellis system with my tomatoes. But then I decided I'm going to do a victory garden in here. So I am actually just tilling up. I started yesterday. Tilling up the whole thing. I'm probably going to take the T-posts out, or maybe I'll try to garden around them. Not sure if I want to take them out because it took me so much effort to get them in to begin with. But these rows are all going to be extremely close together. So if you don't know anything about a victory garden, they became popular back in the 20s and then into the 30s with the World War II, and possibly even a little bit before that. As late as as early as World War I. But the government really wanted people to garden back then because it helped feed people, and they did rationing. The food supply was very small because they had to supply the troops, and they sent food over to Europe as well, to the countries that needed it, that were really hard hit by war. And so they wanted people to garden in their backyards. And so people came up with these victory gardens. And the victory gardens' whole model was growing food that could store for a long time and a lot of food in a tiny spot. So what they would do is they would plant things like carrots and beets and lettuces and turnips and things like that. And they would plant them in a very small space. So each row was only 18 inches apart. So you would plant something in 18 inches, you would plant something else. So obviously you weren't going to want to go with, there would be a row of tomatoes here and there, but that wasn't the whole thing because it would just be unmanageable at that. So this year I decided I really need to fill my shelves. A lot of my canned goods my vegetables are kind of depreciating. I still have a good amount of things, but I'd like some diversity. I would also really like to do more storage crops and long-term, root crops, long-term storage things. So that's why I figured this year the Victory Garden would be a really fun thing to try. So I am just tilling this whole bed over to the raised beds that are over here. And we're going to give it a shot. We're going to see if we can get the Victory Garden to produce. There will be several successions in this bed, and it's just going to be pumping out the food if I can keep up with it. That'll be the key. So yeah, while I'm waiting for this truck to get here, I'm going to see if my rototiller decides to cooperate. I think I overheated it last night, and we're going to get some of this done. So I'll put you guys on a time lapse. Well, I didn't get very far, but can you hear it? I don't know if you'll be able to hear. I can hear the triaxle coming up the far hill, and I can just now see it. It's coming through the tree lines, so we're going to head down because I want to catch him before he turns into the driveway. I've gotten really good at listening to sounds echo up here, so I can hear something coming from probably about a mile away, the way the sound echoes, and I can usually tell what it is coming in. He hasn't even crested the hill yet, but when you live someplace long enough, you start to hear and see the differences. What do you want, Solstice? She's been screaming at me a lot lately. Yeah, you have. You want attention? I'll give you attention in a little bit. I'm waiting for Gravel. All right. But anyways, when you live someplace long enough, especially a rural place, you can tell when something's out of place. He should be coming here soon. So I'm going to put you guys down. And then you can watch us get some gravel. I'm going to try to back up over here, so we'll see what happens. Oh yeah, he's got it. Ditch, gravel, perfect. The allure of a pile of gravel. No child can resist. Anyways, once that goes in that, we shouldn't have much left. Isn't that right? So we're going to need to get more for all of that. That said, it is graded now a little bit better, so see we have fall over here to the road. Harley is working on her show lamb project. Hello, Freya. I already gave you a treat. You don't need any more treats. Don't need any more treats. How's she coming? Good. Look how cute. Look at him. Somebody made a post and said, "What do you spray on your yard to get rid of the weeds?" I said, "You don't. Why do you want to spray something to kill things? Why is this not desirable? Look how pretty it is and cheerful. I mean, I know this is my garden, and I'm well aware that I'm tilling all that up. Yeah, the bees. Like, everybody's afraid of bees. Even Jeff is not fond of bees, but Harley and Chase will literally come out here and pick these guys up on their little fingers. I don't know how many they've saved in the early spring when it's cold outside and they get kind of paralyzed. They'll come out and they'll bring them in the house and give them like sugar water to get them going again and then let them loose outside again. The ditch is now filled in. 20 tons of gravel doesn't really get you too far anymore. It's still so wet. The skid steer's just making ruts. But, yeah, it's filled in. Got a nice gravel path now. Can't really drive anything on it. I gotta clean up my mess back here because I have plans. But yeah. So you see that this kind of has a swale here. So it should naturally come down off the bank and glide towards the road. He built this up a little bit. He really can't go too high because, well, you got to get into the barn somehow. So, yeah, it's coming along. Now we just need to get a whole lot more gravel so we can just gravel this whole pad. And I think it'll be pretty good. I'm so glad to finally have this project done-ish. But at least we can come in the back of the barn now. That's nice. All right. Now it's getting dark outside, but most of the inside muck is cleaned. Nice gravel. This had to be lower here because of the door. But, yeah. Got our French drain filled in. Got a nice swale over here going to the road. It's going to rain tonight, so this clay is still not going to dry. This clay, it takes forever to dry out. I know you can't see it right now, so there's still ruts. It just takes forever to dry, especially if it's underneath the rest of it. So it's going to take some time for that to clean up, but it's supposed to rain a few more days this week, so I guess it's not going to dry out. But we'll see. He'll just keep working on it. Hopefully we can get some number 3 gravel to put on the rest of that pad back there. That way it, is a little bit chunkier and a little bit bigger, and it can not absorb into the clay as quickly. All right, guys, that's going to do it for tonight's video. Kind of spanned like the whole entire day. Got a little bit more rototilling done. You got a little bit more done with Lily. Yeah. Yep. The biggest thing is the gravel, which you can still kind of see from here. It's a lot better than all that mud. So if it does rain tonight or tomorrow, hopefully we should be good, right? Mm-hmm. All right, guys, that'll do it. We hope you had a great day, and we will see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.